Hello, students. Good evening. Merry Christmas to everyone. Just wanted you to check on how are we going to go ahead with our preparations in the next 16 days for our CA intermediate exams. I know a lot of you guys today are stressed. How am I going to plan my next 16 days? There are few students who are writing module 1. There are few students who are writing just module 2, and there are also students who are writing both the modules. Now this next 16 days is going to be extremely crucial for us in terms of our preparation. So if you guys have any queries on what are the mistakes that you guys are doing, is there something that you really require certain help on, please free feel to come write your problems in the comment section and I would be happier to answer it. Now, today's session for the next 20 minutes, what we are going to cover is few mistakes that you're going to do during the examination, how to avoid it, how do I make sure that I utilize my next 16 days. So I'll be sharing across a timetable towards the end of the session, which you can download on our app or you can write it in our comment section. You will be able to find the link for downloading this timetable. Also, how do I take care of my health for the next 20-25 days? So all the best and Merry Christmas before we start this session. So let's start off with the first thing. What are the common mistakes that we do as a student in our CA intermediate exam? The first one is we skip our ICA material, heavily relying on the tutorial notes. Please make sure that you are going through all the illustration questions and the practice questions which are there in the ICA material. So students, don't make a mistake of skipping anything from the ICA material. Make sure that you are thorough with it. Second one, don't ignore the theory, especially for subjects like law, audit and SM, because a lot of students fail in the theory more than the practical papers. So please make sure that you are going to be focusing on the theory subjects. Don't keep it for the last minute, and also try to focus on all the last year paper questions and stick on to the format of the recommended answers which are there in as per ICA guidelines. So ICA has given you the suggested answers. You need to try to stick on to those formats or even certain words which they are looking at for your theory papers. Third one, a lot of times I've seen students come out of the examination and say, sir, I could not write, my hands started paining. Now all of this is for a reason that you have not practiced your writing. Now in the last 16 days, try to make a habit of writing. Don't just try to keep memorizing things. Keep practicing questions and try to stick for 3 hours at a stretch whenever you are trying to study at a particular point of time, right? Now, what are the other things? So the thing is your time management. Now, why am I saying this time management is I've seen a lot of students who get maximum marks in one paper and you don't make it either to the aggregate or you don't clear the other two papers, and because of it you might have to repeat this examination again. So please make a point to focus on all these 3 subjects. If you are writing one module, 6 subjects if you are writing both the modules at a proper interval, and don't try to spend even in the examination on one particular question. Of if it's a 1 mark question, spend 2 minutes on it. If it's a 10 mark question, spend maximum of 20 minutes on it, because otherwise you will not be able to complete the paper on time, right? Now second, now try to, on the day before exams or even now, it's high time for you guys to learn anything new. Until and unless you are gonna push in too much or you have already completed 80% of the portions and then you are looking at doing additional new topics, then you can look into it. Otherwise, students, it's a big no to take up any new topics in the next 16 days of your exam preparation. Last one is the lack of regular revision. It's lot of students fail exam not because they did not study, it is because they did not revise properly before the examination. And waiting till the end to revise just increases your pressure. And when the pressure increases, your retention power reduces. So, friends and students, just look into this common mistakes. First one, like I said, don't skip your ICA material questions. Second, don't ignore your theory. A lot of them have missed their aggregate because of theory. And if you guys have a doubt on how do I write my theory, write in your comment section and I'll show you how to go about with my theory writing. Third, make sure you practice writing at least for 2 to 3 hours every day from now on for the next 16 to 18 days. Fourth one, ignoring time management. That is, you focus on either one subject or one topic beyond a particular point of time. And I'll tell you a few mistakes that we have done, and so that you don't do it. Last one, don't try to learn new topics in the next 16 days until and unless you are done with your entire preparation. Last one is the lack of revision. At least you need to revise twice. And if you ask me, 4 times is compulsory. Second thing that we are going to be discussing today is how are we going to manage our health and sleep. First thing, no matter what, you need to maintain your 6 hours of sleep every single day. Now, for that, what you need to do is switch off your mobile phones starting today, my friends. Starting today, switch off your mobile phone, because mobile is the one which is going to keep distracting you guys beyond a particular point of time. If mobile or that call is more important than your exams, keep your mobile switched on, or I would suggest switch it off and switch it on after your exams are over. The more screen time you consume, you are gonna not have a proper sleep. You need to have a proper sleep of 6 to hours, 7 hours every day to make sure that you are refreshed and you maintain your energy for the next, how many days? 16 days before the examination and 6 days on the days of exam. Next 22 to 30 days is going to be extremely crucial for all the efforts that you have put in over the last 6 months. Second, in terms of your diet, keep drinking water. Every 20 minutes, have a glass of water, because when you're revising or studying so much, you tend to get tired. Have certain fruits which are high in sugar, nuts, protein, vegetables, so that you keep getting refreshed. Don't try to just do eating so much. Have light meals, but keep eating at regular intervals. Just have cut fruits with you guys, nuts with you guys. Just keep grabbing it in every 25-30 minutes so that you don't feel hungry very often. Now, take short breaks. Now, if you ask me, I would suggest every 25 minutes, take a break of 5 minutes and then come back for the 25 minutes and take a short break. So between your every 90 minutes of study time, you should be looking at having a break of 10 to 15 minutes. And this is basically not to go and check your mobile phone. Friends, it is got to do with making sure you stretch. Can I do this in the examination? The answer is yes. You don't have to distract anyone. You can just wake up in the examination, just maybe go for a restroom break and come back rather than sitting there for 3 hours non-stop. Or you can just take a break in 30 minutes, have a glass of water and then start writing again. Or maybe just get up, do a stretch by yourself so that you are extremely comfortable with your body, so that you don't feel lazy and you tell your body that you're not dead, you are very much alive for writing your exams. Next, like I said, don't try to push yourself for that 15-20 minutes. I agree you can do it on the day of exam, but not right now. A lot of students I've seen in the last 12-13 days, they go on to stretch 20-22 hours, 20 hours of study, 22 hours of study, and I think it's not required at all. That extra 1 hour that you're going to push or 2 hours that you're going to push, it is going to add more pressure to you guys, and the more you add pressure, Your mind cannot retain so much of information. So please don't push yourself beyond a certain limit. 6 to 7 hours of sleep, no matter what happens, everyone has to follow it. Last one, in between all of this, I want you guys to spend at least 30 minutes doing either light stretching exercises, yoga, or walking, so that you get a proper sleep, proper relaxation, and also it will help you to reduce stress. So these are the two things that you need to make sure. First one, like I said, the common mistakes to avoid. The second one is how do you manage your sleep and health for the next 16 to 20 days. Last one, how am I going to build my success by keeping a positive mind frame. First thing, every day get up in the morning and tell, no matter what happens, the next 16 days, I'm going to give my best to make sure that I'm going to clear this examination. If it is difficult for you, it is going to be difficult for every single other student out there. And don't ever underestimate your preparation, right? So make sure that you start your day with a positive note, that why have you started this course, and make sure that all of your effort for the next 16 days, guys, we are talking of 16 days of 15 hours each. That's almost more than 180 hours plus your examination days 20 hours. We are talking of 240 hours of your preparation time for one module to score 150 marks. That means every hour that you study, you need to score just 0.75 marks, which is easily achievable, provided you don't lose your focus in the next 16 days, right? Now, the next part of it is start focusing on your strength than your weakness. Let's say, for an example, for me, I'm not getting consolidation right. Don't break your head. Focus on the chapters which you get it really right. Let's say theory is my strength. Make sure that that is going to give you that aggregate that you're looking at. But always start off your day by revising the topics that you're very confident on, so that you can build your momentum. If you look into it, if you divide your entire chapter or subjects into 14 chapters, easily 4 to 5 chapters are going to be easy. First, finish that off. When you finish that, what will happen? You will get confidence that, boss, I'm done with 4 chapters. I have 8 more to go. Then pick the medium one. You'll be left with 4 more. Then it's like, okay, fine. Try to focus on your strength. And when you're preparing or writing your mock, please try to simulate your examination environment. So please make sure that mock examination, when you're writing it, and I'll tell you when to write mocks and other part of it, try to see that you sit and focus on yourself as if you're writing an examination. Are you clear with this? Now, whenever you are still stressed, not able to find a solution to it, please reach out to your teachers or your mentors or even your friends, because the ones who have cleared it can definitely help you guys. Now, last one, start looking at rewarding yourself. Now, end of the day, let's say you have something that you want to listen to a song, or you want to make a call to somebody. Keep a target that, hey, you know what, I'm going to call this person or talk to this person, or maybe go and talk to my mother, listen to this song or anything, only after I complete this much of portions. So keep a small reward. Maybe it can be you're having a chocolate or talking to somebody you like, or maybe to spend or eating food from your favorite restaurant. Reward yourself, but please make sure that is taken only after you achieve. I hope you guys are clear with this. Now, last but not the least, something I want to tell you guys is, please avoid anyone who says you cannot clear this exam. If there is a visually challenged who can clear the exam, if there are people who have not gone to classes who can clear exams, if a guy who does not English can clear your exams, I don't think so that you have a reason to give. And stay away, believe in yourself, don't ever encourage anything negative. If there are people who are crossing 50, 55 and still clearing exams, guys, you are all way too better off than them. And trust me, the 16 days of concentrated effort can make sure that you guys can clear your exams in your first attempt that you are looking at. Last one, like I said, is to visualize success. All these efforts, until and unless you don't celebrate your smaller rewards, you don't celebrate what the reward is going to be, trust me, achieving this examination is going to quite become quite difficult. We are, whether we say competition or not, out of a group of 100 odd students, it's only around 15 to 20 who clear. So how do you make sure that you are going to be that 15, right? And trust me, a lot of them are going to be doing mistakes of focusing on one paper. You would have seen them missing on aggregate. A lot of them not able to write on the day of examination, hand pain, health issues, stress. These tips, if you follow it, trust me, you will be able to ace it. And like I said, guys, reach out to us. We will be more happier to help you guys out at help@arivupro.com or on our website. We'll be happy to help you guys out. Now let's try to look into the last day on the examination. Now, what am I going to do? First thing, revise lightly. What does this revise lightly mean? Try to keep going across your strengths again and again. Now, how much time do I need to take per chapter on a particular day? Now, if you ask me, on the day of examination, you should be in a position to do two revisions, right? And what are those two revisions? I'll tell you. You need to keep 1 hour per chapter. When you do that, it will take you roughly around 14 to 15 hours to do all this. Next 5 hours, whatever you did in 14 hours, you need to bring it down to 7 hours. So 22 hours you're going to spend on the day before examination to revise twice, right? And on the day of examination, that's the morning slot, you will be focusing on theory for subjects like FM, costing, accounting. You're going to be focusing more time on getting your theory right. Theory, past paper questions. Don't get bothered about somebody telling you, hey, you know what, did you read this question? One question will not make you a CA. One chapter will not make you fail your examination. So please remember this and believe in your preparation. So make sure that you revise. So I told you, focus on the summaries. Make sure that you have the formula sheets. And again, I'm saying, don't read anything new. Next part, plan your paper. When I say plan your paper, you know, on the examination day, we have 3 hours, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is for your paper. You have around 180 minutes for 100 marks. So typically what I try to do is, until and unless I'm not aiming for a rank, I generally keep 10 marks aside and say every 1 minute or every 2 minutes I need to score 1 mark. So if there's a 10 mark question, I spend 20 minutes. If it's a 20 mark question, 40 minutes. I try to divide it like that, so that any question, if it takes, let's say it's a 10 mark question, I took more than 20 minutes, I stop at 20th minute and move to the next question, because it's not worth giving more time. If you save some time, come back to it, but don't do this. And again, I'm saying, students, don't do this mistake. Especially is your MCQ. Last, read your questions carefully. Certain times the questions will look similar of what you have done in your study material question or on your previous papers, right? But there is going to be smaller changes to it. So please read the question carefully. If you don't know an answer, don't panic. Move on to the next question and come back later. If you get too stressed and you forget what is happening in the examination, trust me guys, I had this panic attack in my auditing paper of CA final. I just went blank. Now what did I do? I just put my head down, took a deep breath for some time until my mind just calmed down, and I said, hey, you know what, let me try doing my best to make sure I clear. And when I was in the right frame of mind, I started searching for chapters which I think I know. I found certain chapters, started answering it. Once I answered the first question, second question, the confidence kept on building. And finally, I could clear the examination. I did not get the maximum, but I was able to just clear by 40. It was still better than getting that zero. Panic attacks are gonna happen when you put in so much of effort, but please make sure you calm down to it. I hope you guys are clear with all the things. Is there anything that you want to ask me? I'll be more happier. uh, how to revise? So Gaja is asking, how do I revise or how do I write a law paper? Deepesh, Sangvi, no one, good evening, Madhumita, right? I'm going to be talking about how do we present a paper just towards the end of the session. I just wanted you guys to ask me anything in these three topics that we have covered right now. So before we go into the next part of it, keys by RK, I'm going to be doing foundation this Friday. Nothing. So I'll share you guys certain timetable that I followed, and something I have done it for my students at ArivuPro, whoever had asked me across how do I go about my revision in the last 16 days. So I'm going to be sharing this timetable. This timetable is going to be available in the link in the description, maybe in the next half an hour. Amrita, so the schedule that I'm going to be sharing it is just for you guys. So I wanted to know how many of you guys are writing group 1, group 2 and both the modules, so that accordingly I can focus onto it. And I'll just tell you how do I read this timetable. Right? Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna be first talking about people who are gonna be writing one module, and I'll share you guys how to read this so that you are aware of it. So this table, I'll tell you how is it planned across. So we start. If you see this, I've divided my day into 4 study slots, and this has a timetable on what you have to read at what point of time. You can change based on your preference, so I've done it based on the preference that I look at. So I generally try to wake up by 5, try to freshen up, do some bit of exercise so that I can start my day at 6. So what I try to do in a day is, if I'm writing one module, I try to read one chapter a day. And when I say read, I'm going to be revising 3 hours per chapter. Now, in the second set, so I start at 6, finish off by 9:30, 9 o'clock. Few guys can start at 9:30, few guys can start at 10 o'clock, depending on whatever time is comfortable. Now, I'm going to move to my second subject, which is going to be law. Then I'm going to come to my set 3. That is going to be between, let's say, instead of doing at 1:30, I generally try to do between 2:30 to 5:30 or maybe 3:30 to 6:30. I do my, so timings you can play around with whatever is required. So I've made a timetable. And then the last set of the day is what I'm going to be looking into it. So if you see what I've done, I've written all the chapters based on it. And every day when you finish this, just put a tick mark next to it so that you are comfortable. So you can take a printout. When you take a printout, you just can put a tick onto it, and I'll tell you what are we going to look at in those 3 hours that we are looking at. This is for students writing your one module, that is module 1. So I have list of chapters from day 1 to day 10. Then you have your mock test on day 12. Then second set is going to be for your law. Third set is going to be for your taxation. And every day evening, no matter what, you're going to be looking into past papers. Day 1 accounting, day 2 law, day 3 taxation. Day 4 accounting, day 5 law, day 6 taxation. Day 7 again accounting, day 7 your law, day, taxation. Then you're going to focus key revision areas and you're going to be solving all the mock questions. So the last set of the day, no matter what happens, right, Aarti, this is where it becomes more clearer for you. No matter what happens, I'm going to be looking into the past paper questions. Now, if you ask me, what am I going to do in this 3 hours? Now, look into it. In this 3 hours, what I'm going to do, I am going to spend the first half an hour trying to read the concepts entirely. Now, where am I going to find that? Maybe on my marathon notes or maybe on the classroom summary notes. You can read that in the first half an hour, or maybe you can watch even the marathon video of that particular chapter covering in 1 hour. Now, if you're done with it in 1 hour, what you're going to be doing is simple. See here. So I said you will have 3 hours per chapter, right? In that 3 hours, 1 hour spend time on recapping the entire concept. Now, what does that recapping of the entire concept mean? I can maybe take an example of a costing paper and tell you. Now, let's say I'm going to be looking into the chapter of material. Now, what I look at, what all the questions which can come in the material chapter. I'll try to see what are going to be the methods used for purchase, what are the methods used for the tender process, what is a bin cart, what is a stores ledger, how do I do different methods of issue, that is going to be my FIFO, LIFO weighted average, how am I going to be recording my levels of inventory, so I write the formulas of stock level, then I try to find out how do I treat my wastages. So I'll try to recap all the chapters, entire summary in the first half an hour to 1 hour. Now next 2 hours, what I'll do, 1 hour I'm going to spend time on just focusing on the study material questions, right? Now, should I solve all the questions? The answer is no. What you have to do is read each of the question carefully. Try to see, can you solve that question mentally? If you think there is something, let's say for an example, a EOQ question. The formula is pretty straightforward. What is that? 2AO by S, right? 2AO by C. If you know, can find out what's the annual requirement, ordering cost and the carrying cost. I am done with it. I don't try to solve that. Whereas, let's say I have to calculate the normal loss and abnormal loss. Maybe I'll try to do one question of it. So I'll try to cover as many variety questions as possible from the study material. Wherever I don't require to remember a lot of things, I will try to solve it mentally. Otherwise, I'll try to do it. 1 hour is going to be for my study material questions, and 1 hour I'll try to at least see 6 to 7 past paper questions of that particular chapter. This is how I'm going to be focusing on my 3 hours, right? So the set one, like I said, has your accounting. So once you are completing with it, you can tick. So there is nothing based on importance or other stuff. Depending, because I generally try to complete every chapter. I don't keep anything as important. So I've done it based on it. So wherever a chapter requires complete time, I've given the entire 3 hours. Otherwise, I've kept it as, so I've done it for accounting, law and taxation. Depending on your interest, you can always play around with it. For few students who like, so my the way I used to study was, I used to study law in the morning, because morning I used to be very fresh. Then I try to check set 2, that is going to be my accounting, because during the day I am okay if I get a little lazier, I can take little more time. And towards the day end, again after my second set, I used to sleep for a smaller time so that I refresh, and then I used to go with my set 3, that's going to be my taxation. So one chapter a day, you focus, you should be good enough. Guys, remember, you won't be able to complete 100%, but 3 hours of dedicated focused effort, since you have attended all the classes, should be good enough. Don't, if you're finding some chapter to be too difficult even after 3 hours, don't break your head. Always remember this, because of one chapter you will not become a CA, because of one chapter you cannot fail. So keep this as a target, and then day end, make sure that you go through as many papers as possible. I hope this is clear. with your group 1. Now, where we come to the group 2, the guys writing for group 2, you guys have how many days? If you look into it, you have 12 plus 4 plus 6. That is almost 22 days for your examination. Now, if you look into it, you have 6 days per subject. Now, that is more than enough to clear your group 2. So, but still, I have tried to keep a stretch with regards to your timing, trying to do the same part of it, of putting it across. The schedule is available. Now, let's come to the both the group guys. For you guys, this is gonna get little challenging because you're gonna be writing both the modules. You will have to focus of doing 1.5 hours per chapter. Right, guys, writing both the modules, you need to spend how many minutes? 1.5 minutes per 1.5 hours per chapter. Whereas the guy writing one group will spend 3. You're going to be spending half of it right now. Now, based on it, the entire timetable is done. Now, how do I write my law paper? Now, what I would suggest is before you start writing your law paper or preparing for law paper, please go through the last year few papers, 2-3 papers. Try to see the suggested answers first. Once you see the suggested answers, friends, you should be in a position to know how do you go about with your presentation. When you do that, automatically your presentation of law, audit and SM becomes a lot better. Are you clear with this? Yes, Satyajit. Nice that you're writing both the modules. Are you guys clear? So I made this timetable. A lot of you guys were asking for it. So I made this timetable for you guys. It's going to be available in the first comment. So you can download it. But if you guys have any particular doubt that you are looking at, please let me know. I'll be more happier. Please guide me with respect to the costing theory. Costing theory, first thing, make sure that you read everything from the study material and past year paper questions. That is good enough for costing theory. At least you should be able to answer 4 questions out of the 5 theory questions, Madhumita. I'm little stressed about my revision schedule. Amrita, I've given you the revision schedule. Hopefully that should be fine. Aarti, costing concepts are clear for me, but when I'm solving problem, it becomes difficult to proceed with the problem. Aarti, I would suggest if you can watch the marathon that I've done. I've taken that into consideration and told how to go about it. Should be able to look at. Please guide me with respect to the. Okay, Amrita, how do I plan the 1.5 hour? Now, since you have lesser time, now you cannot now sit and watch the marathon videos. So that is ruled out. Now, what you will have to do is the first half an hour, you will have to revise the questions, like the theory and the flow of the chapter. The next 1 hour, you're going to be spending time running through different kinds of questions. Read the questions, see the solutions. Read the questions, see the solutions. That is how I would go about it because you have lesser time. Or even otherwise, one of a thing that I do is sometimes I purposefully skip 2-3 chapters in every subject so that I get little bit additional time for lengthier chapters like consolidation, amalgamation. That's how I would plan around for my 1.5 hours. So what I try to do is I try to choose one chapter which is difficult, one chapter which is extremely easy, so that I can balance to give 2 hours for the longer chapter and 1 hour for the shorter chapter. So these things you will have to plan it around. I have given it based on the flow. You can make, because this is an Excel file, you can plan around the way you want to do it. Please guide with respect to the costing theory and FM problems. Costing theory, like I said, Madhumita, theory, please look into the past year paper questions of costing, because costing has not changed at least in the last 20 years. So the theory more or less is covered in everything. Now FM problems, I would stick on to doing study material questions, behind the back questions and the previous year paper questions. Can we write exam without written practice of MTP, RTP and PYP? Daya, I did not write RTP, MTP or previous year paper questions. But what happened also is sometimes you will not know how much time are you taking to it. And without writing practice, it gets a little difficult. Not recommended, but it's okay if you don't have time, that you can take a call and use that remaining half an hour or remaining 2 hours or 3 hours a day, right? Anyone, any more doubts? Gokulam, Satyajit, no one, Sangvi, Deepesh, more happier to answer. On a Christmas day, we wanted to make sure that your day is merrier, your preparation goes more happier, and you have more time towards your preparation. And trust me, guys, you can clear it. 16 days is good enough time if you really follow this 3 hours per chapter. Stick on to it, like I said at the beginning of the class. Don't ever, don't spend excessive time on one subject or problem. It can impact your overall preparation. So please remember this. Anything that you want to ask, I'm available. Let me know. More happier to answer. Thanks, Amrita. Thanks, Daya. Thanks, Madhumita. Right. So thank you all. All the best for your examination. And like I said, Merry Christmas. And hope to see you guys clearing your both the modules, one module or other. For writing both modules, Satyajit, the schedule or the timetable that I have given has everything. So you can look into having last 3 days dedicated only for your accounting revision, because if your first paper goes well, everything goes well. So like I said, I've given you all the timetable. Now, the way I look into it is, I finish all my revision in 12 days. I finish everything in 12 days. 4 more days to go about for my preparation. In that, again, one day I'll revise tax, one day I'll revise law, and the next 2.5 days I'm going to dedicate entirely for my accounting, so that my accounting paper goes well, and I make sure that my rest of the group is taken care of. Satyajit, I hope that solves your answer. We need Malayalam classes. We are trying our best to come in as many regional languages as possible. We need more Malayalam teachers. More happier if you know somebody to let us know. Can we revise for the first time the whole advanced accounting in 5 days? The answer is yes. You can revise the entire thing. The marathon is for 20 hours, but we have only roughly around 40 hours left, so it becomes a little challenging. So you need to plan it around carefully. You cannot revise every topic using the marathon. Certain things you will have to do yourself, and certain things you will have to depend on the marathon, but should be good enough. There. Thanks, Putraju. More happier. Right? Anything else more happier? Please reach out to us. All the marathon videos are all given for you guys. You can always write anything that you are finding difficulty in the comment section of any of those marathons. We would make sure that we respond to every single comment out there. Right? How about classes in Coimbatore? The classes have started in Coimbatore, Madhumita, for Group 1 and Group 2, so you can just inquire for it. I think right now the focus should be on your examination. Everything else can be taken care. Thanks, Daya. Hoping to see your results and hope all your effort is rewarded. So thank you all. Thank you all, and Merry Christmas again. I hope this session was useful for you guys. And please make sure reach out to your mentors. Like I said, if you are anything stuck with, please reach out to your mentors or your friends who can understand your journey. Thank you so much. All the best, and Merry Christmas again.